So today we're going to continue the discussion on Databricks DevOps. We're going to talk about deploying the Databricks artifacts using our GitHub action. I'm assuming you watched the service principal video on how to create a service principal in Azure and set up the secret for the GitHub action. You've also watched the initializing your Key Vault video and that you now have your secrets in Key Vault for dev, QA, and production Key Vaults. And then what we will do is we actually will run the action today, and I'll show you what happens when we run the action, and we'll review what is deployed. So let's go ahead and run the action, or come over to GitHub. If you come over to GitHub, you click on Actions, and you click on your workflow here, and we'll click Run. And what you'll need to change in here is we need to put a 1 because our last video we put a 1 and this has to be globally unique. And then we also need to come in here and paste our subscription ID. And the other piece that we set last time was deployment mode. We set that to initialize Key Vault, but we're going to leave it as Databricks. The reason we're leaving as Databricks is we don't want to overwrite the secrets with the ARM template from Key Vault. So we're just going to continue to run this in Databricks mode from now on. And then these parameters up here are all customizable. Our notebooks are going to get deployed to a notebooks my project folder. So this is our path in Get. So if we look in my Get, you'll see a notebooks folder and then my project. And then these are the path inside of Databricks off the workbooks. I'll show you. We'll create a folder called my project. Again, we have our resource group, our region, and our Databricks workspace name. So when you click Run, I'm going to skip it since I ran it to save some time. And if you click on Workflows, you'll see your workflow running, and your workflow will look something like this when it's complete. So there's a build step. So my build step is doing a couple things. It shows the environment variables. This is a debug method I use for seeing, what all environment variables are available when I'm trying to path out all my various DevOps processes. And then I'm publishing my ARM templates, my clusters, notebooks, jobs, init scripts, and my deployment scripts. So they all get packaged up and placed into an artifact so I can use them in my following steps. If you wanted to compile code, you could compile your jar files. So even though I'm not compiling code here, I always have a build step. And then if you had jar files or Java code or Scala you wanted to compile, you would do that as part of your build process. And then dev, QA, and prod are all the same. We display environment variables. I'm going to download all the artifacts I just created. You can download all these in one step, but I did it one by one. I log into Azure, so that's my login, and I reference my secret in there so I can log into Azure. And I'm deploying my Databricks resource. So this deploys every time. It doesn't hurt anything since it's already deployed and created. And then we skip our Key Vault. So that little mode flag that said Databricks or Key Vault, this tells us don't deploy the ARM template for Key Vault, so we don't overwrite our secrets that we entered. And then we're going to download our secrets to use in our following steps. And after we download them, we'll deploy our init scripts, we'll deploy our Databricks clusters, we'll deploy our Databricks notebooks, deploy our Databricks jobs. So you can extend this to deploy other items in Databricks, and we'll talk about that in the next video. But then QA, production, do the same set of steps. So over in Azure, you should have in your resource groups, you have a dev, QA, and prod. So if you click on your dev resource group, click on your dev workspace, and then click launch workspace. I've opened dev, QA, and prod up here, so we don't have to wait for that to open. And then inside of your workspace, first thing you can do is click on the workspace, and we will click on the root of the workspace, and you'll see I have a folder called My Project. So this My Project folder has all my work notebooks that have been deployed, and they've been deployed recursively. So these are all now pushed out, and you can change the name of this folder. This DevOps process is currently just deploying one folder, so you could use this process to deploy many folders by copying that action, and duplicating that action. But right now, it's tied to one folder. It also deploys clusters. So it deployed a small, medium, and large cluster. They're just my names. You can call them whatever you like. So they're deployed. and the clusters are also terminated. So what happens is after the clusters are deployed, I shut them down. And then we also deployed some jobs. So we have a couple jobs here. So you can see the jobs that are being deployed. This one's deployed on a interactive cluster. So I'll show you how to do that. And then this is deployed on a job cluster. So support both deployments. I really tried to give you a example of each in terms of being able to do this. So if we go over to QA, again, same set of resources. And if we go to production, we have the same set of resources deployed. So effectively, we're able to push out our dev, QA, and production workspaces all in the same manner from source control. So our source control system has our artifacts in it, and I'll go through this in detail in my next video where I show you each of the artifacts that are pushed out and how the deployment works. So I'm going to jump into that in the next video, but we're successfully deploying our Databricks environment using DevOps. So the next video, I'll review the deployment and I'll review the YAML in detail. Well, thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye.